Hey y'all, thank you so much for joining me. I don't know about you, but I kind of live in two different worlds. Like one world where I'm constantly writing things down and making new lists all the time and time blocking and trying to keep everything straight because I'm always writing it. But I don't do anything unless like technology beeps at me, right? It's got to be like, ding, you're supposed to be here, or ding, this is due, or hurry up and get this thing done. For me, the very best thing I've ever found to manage my time and my projects and other people's projects has been Trello boards. And you know what's actually cool, just like a side note, is this notebook. It's called like Rocketbook, and one of my academy members, Tabitha, she told me about it. And what's so cool about it is you can write in here, and then you can circle at the bottom. There's like this little there's little icons at the bottom. Oh, my baby got a hold of this page. You can circle an icon, you can use your app, and then you can scan it to Trello boards. So, and then you can just wipe it all off and start again. Because before this thing where I could just wipe it all off and send it to Trello boards or send it to my email or whatever, I was just filling up notebooks with just like random gibberish. So anyway, besides the Rocketbook, which I love now, Trello boards. And so that's like the whole point of this, because if you, a goal without a deadline is just a wish. And so Trello boards lets you figure out what all your goals are, all the little steps that it's going to take to get to those goals, and you can put timelines on them. And then because maybe you're an instructional designer or you want to be one, you're going to have to either manage yourself or you're going to have to manage others in some kind of project management fashion. So this is not just me on the screen talking to you. I want to actually show you how I use Trello boards and how to set them up, and just give you like a little mini tutorial on Trello boards and maybe a little bit of project management for instructional design. Now, I will try to keep a look at the questions, but please bring them in there. They're like over here, like I got Zoom here, and then the questions are over here. So it's hard for me to see what your questions are, but give them to me. I promise after this to go back in and answer whatever questions you have as you think about them. So, all right, here we go. Let's get into it. Let's show you what Trello looks like. So some of you may be familiar with Trello already, and some of you may have never even heard of Trello and you use some other kind of project management tool. So obviously there's like a gazillion of them. There's like Monday and Basecamp and like whatever, Asana. But for me, I love Trello boards because of the fact that they're so visual, they're so easy to use, and you can use them for your personal life, your project management, your business, even your own personal projects. And so let me just show you what they look like. For instance, let me share. All right. So I have a bunch of them, and I went ahead and copied this one because I thought this was a really nice look into what this looks like. But let me just show you how to create one, right? So obviously you'll go to Trello.com and you'll have to create an account. But then from there, you'll just go to boards. As you can see, I love them. And you will create a new board. Now there is an option where even on the free version, you can create a team. I've actually ran out of the amount of teams that I can have. So I'm just going to create a no team one. And then I'm just going to do Facebook. All right, so here's my board. You can pick whatever color you want. Blue seems obvious. And this is so here's the beauty of these up here. These are called lists. And so usually what I start with lists is like resources. Then you can do to do, working, block, right? And done. Now this categories right here is something I learned from a project management friend of mine who manages large learning and development projects. And her process really is this simple, right? Because they know what to cover in the next meeting, they know what's getting blocked, they know how to follow up, and they know who's working on what and when it's supposed to be done. And so these what she said are her like top categories when she's creating her project management board. And I actually used to do my project management boards differently till I talked to her. And then afterwards, I found that this is the best way, even for me. And I restructured all my boards to match this format, especially for projects. Because, like, for instance, you'll get like an entire list of things that need to be done to, to reach your goal. Let's say, for instance, even making your portfolio, right? You got to get a website, you got to get your logo, you got to get your branding. And you have to create your homepage and your portfolio page and your About Me page. So, all those things can be what they call cards. And so, when you create a card, so let's just say to do, let's say, logo, you want to get your personal brand logo. Now, here's what the card is, but then this is like what they call like the back of the card. And you can add a description. You can even mark up this language, right? So there's formatting that you could do. If you invite people on your Trello board, you guys can talk about, maybe you like hire a designer, right? Then you can add her as a member to your board to help you like create your logo. And then you can include attachments like, oh, I really like this logo and I like what this logo looks like. And then when you can get power ups. I think with the free version, you get one free power up. And I'll talk about some of my favorite power ups in a moment. But if you start inviting people to your Trello board, eventually, if you invite enough people, you get to gold versions, which means that you have for free like a bunch of different power ups that you can add to your cards. And so, what I mean by power ups, for instance, since we're talking about it, is that you can add all these things to your Trello boards to make them all sync. So, for instance, you can do voting and Google Drive. That's my favorite. Slack, and you can add custom fields. The calendar is nice, right? Because then it takes all your Trello board cards and it just like puts them into the calendar based on your due dates that you've put on them. And it just goes on and on and on about all the different power ups that you can add to your Trello board. Okay. So, anyway, enough about the power ups. So, here it is. And so, the other thing that's great about Trello cards is you can add a checklist, right? So, here's my checklist. What are all the things that need to get done for my logo? Well, I'm going to need my colors. I'm going to need design ideas. I'm going to need to finalize my design, and so on and so forth. And you just like check it off. It's so satisfying, really. You can put a due date on it. Is it due next week? And the Trello also has an app for your phone. So when you put a due date on here, you download the app to your phone. Not only are you getting notified via email that your due date is approaching, you can decide how much of a notification you want for when your due date is approaching. You will also get a notification on your Trello board app. And like I said, if technology doesn't ding at me, I don't get it done. If technology doesn't tell me how to get to a location, I don't know which road to turn on. So same thing with Trello boards, like just set yourself up for success if you're anything like me, and put due dates on all your tasks and goals. So those are like the basics of the Trello board. And I want to kind of show you a trick. So whenever you're setting up a project, let's go with what we know. Let's say you're setting up an e-learning project. Well, a lot of times you might get together with your team or your stakeholders or your subject matter experts, or even if you are experienced in it, then you know that there is a list of things that you'll need to do, depending on what that e-learning project is. And you can actually create a list in Excel. You can create a list on a sticky pad. You can create a list that's basically like any kind of text editor, and then you can copy it. So let me show you. All right, this is not a good list, but it's one of my sticky notes. So here it is. Copy it, and then I can add another card and I can paste it here, and then I can press enter. And look, it will automatically, it recognizes that this is a list, and I can create 9 cards now. So boom, there's my to-do list all laid out for me. And now I can just go in here and I can add my dates. And I want to show you this because I want to show you something else that's cool. So now I've added some dates for all my to-dos. You can even set times. So there's where you set your reminder. All right, so these are all done. Now look at this. I can also sort my list by the due date. And I put them all in order anyway. But the point is, like, so you can see like what are the most pressing to-dos. And then you're like, okay, it's time to start on the logo. And you just drag it and drop it. And then of course, when you're done, you can just move it to done. So what does this actually look like in a real project that I've done? So for me, there's a couple of different things. Like for instance, like for the Academy, I already created a Trello board for them that tells them all the things that they need to do. But even with all these things that I've told them that they need to do, they still realize that you still need to break down the tasks even more, right? So for instance, I say select a website and platform and sign up. Well, sometimes then you have to set up that website. And so all those things might need to be included as tasks. The other thing I want to show you is project management, what it might look like if you were going to do an e-learning project management. All right, get out of here. So kickoff meeting, requirements, scripts, storyboards, voiceovers, development, implementation, and evaluation. And then you could even add another one, which would be like, oh, this is like the requirements, the branding, the guidelines, your resources can all live here. Like I said, this is how I used to do it, but now I do just like to do, working, and done. But what's great about this is just like I said, like I can now come in here and I could add members and say like, this person, you know, is now responsible for branding. I can talk to her and she'll get a notification so that we don't have to have all that email clutter, right? So if it's just a quick comment about, you know, feedback, or just a quick note like, or like a question like, hey, how's the branding going, or whatever, then you can ask it right here in Trello, and then it'll give her a notification on her Trello phone app, and it'll send her an email. And there it is. It's really that easy. So the other thing that's really cool about Trello boards, and this is one of my favorite things, especially with clients, and I'll show you a client one. I'll go to a client one. So say for instance, I have this one right here, this one. Okay, so this was a client of mine, Membership Fix, and not only did I have the client on here, but I had freelancers from the Academy come in and help me accomplish this project. And so as you can see, they all got invited on here, and then I was able to add them onto things to approve them, right? And I could talk to the client, and I could talk to and see where the freelancers were on each of the cards. And for instance, I'll just show you what week 7 looks like, right? I gave them instructions right here in the description. And then I linked to the Power Up Google Drive, because everything that they needed to do for me, I could just link here instead of having it like several emails where they're like, where's this document? Where's this audio file? How do I find this? How do I find that? Instead, it all lives in one place, and you can attach images, and then if you have it in your board. Let me just show you how to add a Google Drive, because it's so easy. I just want to show you what that looks like. I've already added Google Drive to this one. All right, let's just pretend there's another one. Okay, so Power Up's Google Drive. You can attach a file, a folder. I like folders because usually I work in folders in Google Drive. So I can just go to my folders and go membership. There it is, Membership Fix. And now everything that is related to this course is right here in a big folder that they can just click on, and they just go right to it. There it is. Ta-da. Oh. And that's what it looks like. And that's how easy it is. And this keeps everybody on the same page so that you also don't get a bunch of emails like, what's next? What are we supposed to do? And the other thing is for instance, if you go to my Facebook Trello, right? Other people that you invite to this board can come and add cards too, right? So if they realize that there's other tasks that need to be completed for that project, they can just, don't forget to interview the learners. Matthew Daniel will be very happy that I put this on here. Right? And so now it's a new to-do that's on the project. You can also set up like restrictions as far as like what your team members can do and whatever, but really like the amount of collaboration that you can do here on your Trello board is awesome. Of course, you can like add stickers. How fun is that? So I am going to see if I can look at Facebook to see if there are any questions that are coming in. I have no idea I'm going to be able to do this while I am on Zoom, but I don't see any yet. So I'll just go with that. I'll just wait for your questions later. But these are my favorite things about using Trello. And it makes it really easy to, like, for instance, say you are working and you just want to get rid of email clutter. You can use, so Trello has this, check this out. They have email. They have an email in here. So more email to board. So you can actually forward emails that you need to handle, like say it's like a support issue, maybe it's a learner issue, maybe it's a subject matter expert has gotten back to you, and you want to take your inbox to zero. You can forward emails to cards on your Trello board. So you can just get it out of your inbox and then just put it on your to-do list. And that way you only have like one place that you have to manage and deal with, and you can put a due date on it, and then technology dings at you. So there's so much more I could talk about Trello. I have several boards in the Academy that I've set up for my students, and I encourage you to try it out for yourself, see if it's something that you like. And if it can help you, be better at project management. I know that it's helped me. It's been a complete game changer, especially like as a company owner, right? To be able to have my clients and my subject matter experts all come in on the same board and be working from the same place. So anyway, I hope that was helpful to you, or at least introduced you a little bit to Trello. And let me know what your questions are, and I will answer them later. Have a good one. Bye.